Okay, here we go again. This will be my third video since Gert passed. And I notice I'm still like all over the place in the first two videos, and to be honest, I still am. I notice like the grief and the mourning, and I'm thinking about Gert all the time, really. And because I'm grieving also, it's not a lot of space in my brain to function like a normal human being. Even this morning I caught myself doing something weird. Oh yeah, I made toast, and we don't have a toaster, so I make it in a pan, and I forgot to toast the other side of both pieces of bread, so only one side was toasted, and I'm eating it and I'm thinking like, why isn't this toasty or crunchy, you know, because only one side. But you know, in the past month I've done a lot of stupid stuff, like put other substances than toothpaste on my toothbrush because brain fog. Yeah, because my brain isn't functioning normally, basically. Not being able to come up with words, not being able to have coherent sentences. And then I decided to make YouTube films. But I just really wanted to talk about Gert, and I did in the first two videos, and in the last video I mentioned what he had that caused him to pass was SOS, which is sinusoidal obstruction syndrome. It's a rare liver vascular injury disease characterized by damage to small hepatic vessels, and it's caused by certain drugs that have toxic effects on the liver and radiation therapy. And basically, because Gert had both, it came very onset and sudden, and it was 2 days of him fighting against it, but and he fought very hard, as I had mentioned in my last video. He was a fighter, and I believe that's what brought him this far, is because he was always fighting, always working on his mental health, and he made videos and blog posts about that as well, and always trusting God and staying positive and optimistic. I mentioned in my last video that you know, doubt does creep in. Christianity isn't like a magic wand or answer that makes all your problems go away and makes everything okay and they lived happily ever after. If that were true, everyone would be a Christian. That wouldn't really be free will. And I really don't know, because Gert was one of the best people out there, and I don't know why he had to get leukemia and after 4 years die because of a liver complication. I really don't know. And I know it wasn't God's will, what some Christians might say. It is never God's will. Never. If anything out of this video that you remember, it is never God's will that someone hurts or is in pain, is suffering, is having a sickness. It is not. It is, God is love. But we do live in a fallen world, and we do live in a world where we have free will, and things happen and things are set in motion, not particularly in a particular life, but in the whole world itself. And yeah, but as I said in my last video, I really don't have all the answers. But this morning I was looking at Instagram at a channel that my husband used to follow, Frank Turek. My husband was an apologetic, and he was following a lot of apologetic accounts, and one of them was Frank Turek, and I started following them as well. Even though I used to not want to follow certain apologetics because of certain triggers and my past. And Frank Drex sometimes does come across, how to say this nicely, he does trigger me. A little bit shouty from like a pulpit kind of situation, and yeah, I won't go into that too much, but he had a great post, and it did help me. It's about how to honor God in the midst of your doubts. And this is what I'm trying to do, because I choose to still believe in God. And I don't know why this happened to Gert at all. And as you can clearly see from my last two videos, it is, I can't even say heartbreaking, because I feel like I don't have a heart anymore. Like my heart died when Gert's heart died. And that's actually what I said. I remember myself saying that when I stayed with him till they like took him away from me, and I said, "There goes my heart." That's what I said, and I remember myself saying that. And it's true, because sometimes I just feel like I don't have a heart anymore. Oh well. It says here in the post, when people ask us to answer the very questions that disturb us, like why did this happen to Gert, we hastily encourage them to just have faith. Now, I haven't done this personally, but it has been said to me. We believe this is the way to glorify God, but this may not be in the best will to deal with our doubts. As a fundamental level, I think many of us hide our doubts from God because we are worried that our doubt reveals some deficiency in God. We need to admit it to God, like every other deficiency, so that He can help us with it. Understanding this is pivotal. Any confession of faith in the midst of doubt is extremely glorifying to God. When you doubt, be honest. Lay bare your thoughts before God. The deficiency is in you, not in God. Show that you believe by presenting your doubts to God and asking Him to help you understand. And it encouraged me, this post, because that's what I've been doing. I have not been hiding my doubts. I have not been hiding how hard it is for me towards God, even towards others, in my writings, but also here, even on the internet. I put it out there, and I know it's making me vulnerable. And someone did tell me, yeah, it's making you very vulnerable. Yes, I am vulnerable. Yes, I am not strong. Yes, I have doubts. Yes, I am weak. I am this. Who am I? You know, I'm small and insignificant. I can't even say the word. Insignificant. Sorry about that. I'm not even very articulate, as you can notice. And I knew that, and I never even wanted to start a YouTube channel myself, but my husband had a YouTube channel, and he really encouraged me. So these videos that I make about him and about me and about grieving, I tend to put up on both channels, or only just one, just what feels right, to be honest. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm basically taking it day by day. I'm surviving. Sometimes in the morning, I don't know how to get to the evenings. I survive day by day, and I do a lot based on feeling, like when I make videos or when I make them and how I make them. And I don't plan these things. I'm not planning a whole lot, to be honest, but I had a good talk with a friend of mine yesterday, and I did decide something for the future, which was weird because I don't want there to be a future. I don't want to live on. I don't want the world to keep spinning, because how dare the world spin without Gert? I mean, that's how it feels like. You know, how dare the sun come up and set without Gert being alive? And grief looks different for all of us. for me, this is how the grief looks like, you know, the brain fog and the not sleeping and the waking up at 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock. And, yeah. And the crying and not coming upstairs, not knowing what I was doing, not being able to articulate. I mean, even worse than I usually am. So, this is how grief looks for me, and it's different for everybody, and I know that. And you have to feel your way through the grief, and nobody can grieve for you. This is my journey. This is what I'm having to go through today. And if Jesus doesn't come back soon, then yes, in the future as well, and the coming years and years. And I spoke to another widow on WhatsApp, and I said, yeah, this is going to be a long process of grief. And she said, long? You mean for life? And I realized she was right. Yes, for life. So I said, yes, okay, yeah, for life. They say it'll be less sharp, the pain, as time goes by. I hope that's right. I've been having some trauma responses as well. I'm not new to having traumas. I have traumas from my past. And I've been having some new trauma experiences, but a little bit different. And I know what it is to live in fear as well. In my past traumas, I was very fearful, and then I would wake up at 3 o'clock and go downstairs and check if there wasn't a fire, if there wasn't a burglar, if there wasn't, like, the gas was not on. And I wouldn't do this once. I would do this like a couple of times. So that was me really living in fear, and I don't have that fear anymore, because God has set me free from most of my fears. Not all of them. I'm still human. But I don't have the answers. I have my doubts, but I'm open about them, and you can see them here on the YouTube whenever I make a video. And you can leave questions behind for me on the comments, but I'm not sure if I'll have the answers. I am very, very proud of my husband for how he conducted himself the last 4 years, having leukemia 3 times in that period, and, which I haven't mentioned before, it's on his channel on some of his videos, the last half year before he died, he had also rheumatoid arthritis. Like, in August, everything was still fine. He could pick me up. We even have these lovely pictures of us in the heather, and he's picking me up, and he's running little pieces. And he was actually going to train to run a half a marathon. I run off and on for years already. I'm a amateur runner. At the moment, it's not going very well. Actually, the last few years, also because I was a caregiver or caretaker. It's basically the same thing. I haven't been working out or running as much as I would want to. But another thing about being a caregiver and caretaker, I do miss it. I don't have any children. There's a lot of videos about that as well that me and Gert made. I have nothing basically to take care of at the moment. And that's weird, because I grew up being a caregiver, caretaker for my dad, and then later on for my husband. And I've always been someone who takes care of other people, a bit of a people pleaser even, and to not have that anymore, and sometimes be quite selfish with my time, which is to be honest, I mean, I think I have all the right to be alone when I want to be alone and go to someone when I want to go to someone. And at the moment, I do what I want to when I want to. And I think that's quite healthy in these circumstances, because it's already like hard to survive the day. So, but it's weird, and I would give anything to, even if like sometimes it was hard to be a caregiver or caretaker, but I would give anything to be that again. And especially for Gert, you know, he was really, really a good husband, and I'm so proud of him. He was so brave and always so optimistic in his sickness, and he wrote a lot. He was very, very good at articulating himself through paper or laptop these days, and also through his YouTube videos. He was writing a book. I am looking into ways to publish it anyway, and I'll keep you updated on that. So, that's all I have for today. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Goodbye.